this, Drew. God damn it.
I asked him to play. We didn't ask who.
Oh, Evan Smith's 70-yard touchdown.
Oh, yeah. With George, any good?
Yeah.
You all right?
Madden Mobile.
Oh, funny. Oh, funny. I was in. Seemed like Emmitt Smith would be a little old.
You create a team full of all these good players.
Ooh, Virginia takes or gets 2-point
You play games with them.
I don't. Andy does. But he's got a bunch of Maddens, but
Louisville down 1 with 2 minutes left.
Oh, come on. Come on, get on. I've recovered a few squib kicks before.
Louisville has no chance of making the playoffs today.
Bar sack.
Louisville is still ranked
They're
4.
fifth. They're fifth.
Yeah, they're still in the hunt though.
But they're down 1 with 2 minutes left to play right now.
But if they lose,
Yeah,
they
lose.
won't.
They're
They lose, they're done.
Yeah, Virginia's not ranked at all. Because their one loss was against Clemson, and they're pretty good.
Yeah, that was a freaking game.
But this one was kind of like Ohio State lost to Penn State. That might.
I don't think they'll kill Ohio State, to be honest.
Someone's getting the ball.
let's see.
That's my mother.
Someone who does not realize this.
Oh, shit. All he would be saying is, what?
Welcome back to Trojan Field. The score: Dakota State University 7, Mayville State Comets 3. A low-scoring game so far. Let's take a look at a few stats here in the first half. Dakota State 10 first downs, Mayville State 7. Total yard 229 for the Trojans, 142 for the Comets. Big numbers passing for Dakota State. Jacob Giles 14 for 25, 164 yards. Mayville State has just 41 yards. Andrew Blake 3 for 10. He has a 33-yarder. The other two combined for just 8 yards. Giles had a 40-yarder to Austin Opdahl, but still puts together another 124 yards. Opdahl 4 receptions for 107 yards already. Alex Babcock 6 receptions. That's a career high for Babcock in the first half alone, and he has 39 yards. Robert Johnson 1 catch out of the backfield for 13 yards. Mitch Galloway 2 for 6, and Trevor Listman 1 reception for a -1 yard. For Mayville, Kerry Kimbrough 1 reception for 33, but it was a big one, and it led to a few plays later to Mayville's only score of the game, a touchdown on the east end of the field. Julian Delgado 1 catch for 6, and Preston Hamlet 1 catch for 2. In the running game for the Trojans, Robert Johnson 16 carries for 55 yards. He had a run of 17 yards among those. Giles had 3 for 7, not always a called play. He did have an 8-yarder, the other 2 for a net loss of 1 yard. Preston Madden 1 carry for 3 yards, and Dalton Mercer 1 carry for no gain. For Mayville State, Dondre Hubbard 15 carries already, 64 yards. So between Johnson and Hubbard, 31 carries already in the first half. L.J. McMorris 3 carries for 19, and Superior Reed 4 carries for 18. Again, Andrew Blake, the big pass to Kimbrough, the 33-yarder, probably the play of the game right now, and getting Mayville State inside the 5-yard line. They were able to score from there. A few penalties, 3 on each side, just 20 yards for Mayville State, 35 for the Trojans. One of those late in the game, a unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, was 15 of those 35 yards. Otherwise, a pretty clean game. Possession time goes to the Trojans, 16-12 to 13-48.
I'm just not going to spot for you.
Total of 9 punts altogether. Mayville's punted it 6 times for 215 yards. That's an average of 35.8. Trojans, Nick Barron's 3 punts for 130 yards, averaging more than 43 yards per punt. They'd rather not have him punt at all if they can't, but when he does, he's been booming it away. And now he's going to boom the kickoff. Nice and deep. It's inside the 5-yard line. They aren't going to fake any reverse this time. Chasing now reverse play and slips. That's probably the result of a slightly wet field. Rained a little bit overnight and drizzled a little bit in the first half. It is not raining at all now. But it may have been one of the fumbles. Jacob Giles lost it. That may have been due to a slippery ball and then this run back now. So Mayville State will take over 1st and 10 on their own 14-yard line. Comets 7, Trojans nothing. A pretty decent defensive effort by both teams. So it hasn't been a sloppy game. Here's Hubbard. Boom, and nice tackling by Dakota State. And it was clearly a team tackle all the way, but of course you get one of your favorites, Andy, senior Cole Potter in there, 6'2" defensive end from Winfred. He'll be considered one of the best defensive ends in Trojan history when he's done. So you're a Cole Potter guy, aren't you?
I am. I'm a big Cole Potter fan as well as the Potter family.
Mm-hmm.
Her sister was in my class in both high school and college. I like the Potters.
Yeah. So it'll be a 3rd and 13 for Mayville. We're just underway in the second half here. Comets lead 7-3. Seems like a lot of standing around right now. The play clock is running. It's under 10. I would think they'd have to get up to the line pretty soon. 3 seconds, 2, 1, and they won't get it off in time. That'll press the Comets back even further in their own territory. I'm kind of surprised they weren't watching the clock on that, but that costs another 5 yards, so it'll take the Comets down inside the 10. It'll be at about the 8-yard line. A 3rd and 18. Now is a chance to maybe get some good field position if they can stop the Comets on this play. One wide receiver to the right, 2 to the left. Blake goes back to pass. He steps up. He's got a receiver. And that will be not enough for the first down. Nice reception of about 15 or 16 yards, but not enough. So it'll be 4th and 2. Let's see what Mayville does here. Is there a flag on that play? I don't see it. Oh, roughing the passer. Trojans, a costly penalty there. That's an automatic first down. I believe that was on Potter. So look at him march all the way up. That could have been a good field position. Comets were way back at the 8-yard line. Now we'll make it all the way up to the 37-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10. Clock starting up, 13:25 remaining in the third quarter. Comets lead by 4. They send Kimbrough to the right, but a little pursuit, and it's going to be about a 7 or 8 yard gain for Superior Reed. Reed has 5 carries so far for about 26 yards, 27 yards. He's got some speed to try to get around that corner, but still the Trojans defended pretty well considering that play got started pretty well for the Comets. Right at 13 minutes. Now looks like Reed's going to get it. He high steps past a defender, and it will stay in bounds, and it's a first down for Mayville. Gets it to about midfield. Coach Anderson exhorting his troops here, but we do have a player injured, and so we're going to stop the clock on an official's timeout. That looks like Kimbrough. Again, a tall receiver, 6'4", 190 from San Diego, but he's now kneeling on the sidelines, and now he's sitting. But I didn't see the injury take place. Teams have a chance to huddle a little bit. There's so these injuries, Andy, can make a big difference in how the rest of the game goes, almost at any position. Kimbrough, leading receiver, 33 yards on the day. He does stand back up. You have to come, if you get the official timeout on that, you have to leave the field. He's walking slowly over to the other side. Now he's going to try to jog. If you call your own timeout, you can stay in the game, but an official's timeout for injury requires you to leave. In any sense, it'll be a first down for the Comets. They're in the Trojan territory now at the DSU 45-yard line. Seems like both teams, while they're in the no huddle, take a lot of time once they get up to the line. Play clock still at 18 seconds. Low snap, but Blake swings it out to the left side. Got some nice group tackling there by the Trojans. Will pick up maybe 4 yards on the complete pass. Just the fourth completion for Blake on the day. He's 4 for 11 for 43 yards. So, Andy, it's not a huge offensive day for quarterback Andrew Blake.
It sure isn't, but they've been playing well offensively, as well as that one big pass that helped them score that touchdown, which is the difference in this game.
Absolutely. We're now at the 12-minute mark in the third quarter. Blake with two running backs and a man in motion. We've seen that formation before. He goes back to pass, swing pass to the left, pursued by the Trojans. That was the short side of the field, so nowhere really to go. And we'll be lucky, I think, to get back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd and 6. Again, Comets are in Trojan territory, so even a fourth down, they would probably still punt at this point, but they will gain the battle of field position, I think, unless there's a turnover. 11:20 remaining. Clock continues to run. Blake still barking signals, but we're under 3 seconds in the play clock. Can he get it off in time? He does. A low snap and a good pursuit, but it's not going to be enough, and he slips and falls down, and a big sack. So there goes the field position we were talking about. Probably a 9 or 10-yard loss for Blake. It started out, he was able to recover from that low snap, but once he spun around, I think he lost his footing and then evaded one tackler, and then he was down. So officially that's a running play, and it'll be a loss of, let's say, 10 yards, and Mayville will punt. They're going to let that one bounce. Oh, no, oh, gosh. That's a really bad idea, and turnover is going to belong to Mayville. So is that, I couldn't see who that was. Is that, is that Martinson? Okay, Nick Martinson at first let it go, and it bounced directly toward him. So at the last second, he decided to pick it up, but he was already being swarmed by defenders, and so he drops it and turns it over. So Mayville gets a new set of downs about 40 yards down the field. So they will have now a 2nd and 9, just as we're approaching the 10-minute mark. A costly turnover for the Trojans. Here's Blake. He's going to the corner, and he's got his receiver. That's a touchdown. An easy touchdown for the Comets. And again, you throw it to Kimbrough. Remember, he came off injured just a few plays ago, but was able to recover quickly and got wide open. You see, Madden was coming over, but it was way too late to get it, so Kimbrough goes into the end zone untouched. He will now hold for the extra point. Comets now lead 13-3. Trojans offense will have to step up a bit now. This kind of back and forth won't work much longer. Trojans, of course, had a terrific season going, but are facing their third straight loss. And a series of mistakes have put the Trojans in, are down by 11. The extra point is good. So score, Mayville State Comets 14, Trojans 3. We're going to take a 30-second break here at dsuathletics.com. Yeah. I know it's just instinct, you know, and he decided he wasn't going to do anything with that, and then it bounces right toward you. So, like, well, and my instinct says grab it, and then that's a... Right, or if you're going to bounce it like that, run to the sideline. You know, you're not going to... It's pretty rare you're going to get a perfect bounce and get that to come back. But all right. You ready there, rock and roll?
Yep.
All right, we're back at Trojan Field. Mayville State Comets lead Dakota State 14-3. We have 9:53 remaining in the third quarter. Mayville scored 2 touchdowns and the extra points, both involving heavily Kari Kimbrough. The first one, he got a 33-yard reception to get them in position. The second one, he makes the touchdown. Here's Mitch Galloway. He's heading up the right side, almost to midfield. A great run by Galloway. He's up to about the 48-yard line, so Trojans will have decent position. But I think they'll need to get their offense rolling enough to get into the end zone, at least in this quarter. It's not that you can't do it in the fourth quarter also, but I think just for morale, I think you need to move the ball a little bit here. Trojan offense on the field. Galloway just had that great kickoff return, is at one of the wide receivers on the left side. The other one, Trevor Listman, then Austin Opdahl on the right side. Defensive backs doing a nice job covering Trojans. They're going to hand it off to Robert Johnson, the North Star Athletic Association's leading rusher, and he's going to pick up about 4 or 5 yards on the play. Let's call it 4. So it'll be 2nd and 6. Ball now in Mayville territory. That's even symbolic, Andy. Just get it down in Mayville territory and now start moving the chains.
Yes, doing anything you can on a wet field and a cold day to try to get this game back by being down by 2 scores.
Here's a flag and a free play, and they will presumably take that penalty. The reception was good to Listman, but they'd rather have the 5 yards and keep the down. So it'll end up being about 2nd and 1 for the Trojans. And the ball will end up right around the 43-yard line. .909 remaining, third quarter. Of course, both teams, both timeouts, are all 3 timeouts remaining. But again, I think Trojans, now they're going to, I think they're, I don't know what they're doing here. They're still talking to the official about remarking that ball. And they end up walking it away and then bringing it right back. 2nd and 1. My guess is you're handing it off to Robert Johnson, the North Star Athletic Association's leading rusher. Nope, Giles goes back to pass. He's looking for Babcock. No, he's going to Opdahl and thrown out of bounds. Uncatchable ball. So it'll be 3rd and 1. Giles having a chance to get downfield a little bit, about air it out. He's got a very powerful arm. He can go way down the field if he chooses to. Clock stopped, of course, on the incomplete pass. 8:55 remaining third quarter. Here's the handoff to Johnson. He picks up the first down. That's just what the doctor ordered. He'll be down around the 40-yard line where the Trojans will get a new set of downs. Johnson now 18 carries. He may be headed toward 30 carries before this game is over. And I think Dondre Hubbard of the Comets will end up around 30 carries maybe, or high 20s by the end of the game. Clock continues to run on the rushing play. 8.5 minutes remaining, third quarter. Trojans down by 11. Giles hands off to Johnson. Johnson breaks through. He's going to head up for another first down. Now inside the 30. Johnson really starting to put it together. He has more than 70 yards.
52.
1st and 10 from the 30-yard line. Again, same formation the Trojans have been using all game. They have not been mixing that up at all. Giles back to pass. He throws a quick one to Babcock. Again, extends his career-high receptions. That's now his 7th reception. And he's up over 40 yards. He's probably at about 47, 48 yards on the day. Trojans move to a 2nd and 1. Andy, it's an interesting new strategy to get the ball to Babcock.
I'm sure he's been having a great game so far today.
Oh, man.
Where's the flag at?
That's PI.
He had Opdahl had the ball, looked like a one-handed catch. Some of the fans, again, wanted some pass interference, but Opdahl does not ask for it in that case. Again, pretty good defensive effort by. And they're going to hold back Robert Johnson from gaining too much. That may or may not be enough. Let's see where they mark that. They may have to measure this one. Nope, they're going to say 4th down in inches. And so Robert Johnson comes up limping a little bit. They may have kind of gotten his back. So Giles digs in there. He's got the first down. That's an easy first down. Oh, my. One of the Mayville State players, that looks like Will Irwin, waving his arms back and forth like, no, he didn't get it. But it was an easy first down. First and 10 from the 20. Again, just barely get the first down. Oh, nice running. But Dalton Mercer, the freshman from Pierre, gets the carry. Johnson still stays on the sideline. He's trying to recover. I don't know if he twisted his back. Here's a quick pass to Opdahl on the right side. Another first down for the Trojans. This is the best drive maybe of the day. Andy, what do you think?
Yes, I would for sure say that too. It's been a great sustaining drive for the Trojans. Just see if we can get a touchdown here.
I can't even see their numbers.
That's not my problem. Oh, get better.
I think that's girl.
Timeout Mayville.
I think it might be, I can't tell if it didn't look like it was a timeout. But yeah, it's a timeout Mayville. So with the score of 14-3, the Comets leading the Trojans, 6:48 remaining in the third quarter. We'll take another 30-second break and be right back here at DSUathletics.com. By the way, you guys remember you can't say shit in this room while we're on the air, okay?
They're just looking at you and laughing. Yeah, Nick. Come on, Nick.
Never swear.
All right, we're back at Trojan Field. Comets leading the Trojans 14-3. We're in the third quarter. Trojans getting one of their best drives of the day. Now 1st and goal from the 9. Still plenty of time on the play clock. Giles is going to Opdahl in the corner. And it's a touchdown, Trojans. Austin Opdahl, just a terrific, one of the best receivers in the conference. And, of course, Jacob Giles, I would say indisputably the best quarterback in the conference. Hook up for a 9-yard touchdown pass, 6:44 remaining third quarter. Trojans pull back to within 5. They'll go for 1 here and try to get it back. But just psychologically getting a touchdown, their first touchdown of the game, having waited 2.5 quarters for this prolific offense, is a good sign. Here's Nick Behrens, and that's going to be good. Pretty flat, but it goes through the uprights. That's what counts. So Nick Behrens brings the Trojans back to within 4. 6:44 remaining third quarter. Now it's a game again, Andy. And so after a slow start to the game, 2 touchdowns already for the two teams here in the third quarter.
Yes, they, Mayville came out in the second half and had a good drive, couldn't do it. Dakota State gets it, fumbles it. Mayville scores on the next possession and get up a 2-scoring game. And DSU now just came down and did a great sustaining drive and scored the touchdown to cut it back to 4. So it's anybody's game now.
So a quick look at the standings. This game was determined who's going to be in third place. Trojans currently 2-2 in the conference, behind Dickinson at 5-0 and Valley City 4-1. But right behind is Presentation and Mayville at 1-2. So if the Trojans win, they go to 3-2, an undisputed possession of third place in the conference. Mayville would fall to 1-3, but this game is far from over. We'd expect more scores yet today. And we'll talk about some other Dakota State sports going on. We have the winter sports season just starting and still wrapping up the fall sports. So lots of good things for Trojan athletics as Nick Behrens puts his foot into the ball. Here's another slip. Are they going to fake the handoff? No, they don't. But still, he's running around. It's who can get that. There's a flag on the play. That's going to be, I think it's going to be against Mayville. We will see. Clock ran off a few extra seconds. I don't know why exactly, but they're going to. Here's the spot of the infraction is the 39-yard line where we saw the flag go down. Ball ended up at about the 38-yard line, but we'd expect this to be against Mayville and back them up a little ways. So from the end of the run. So Mayville gets a 1st and 10, but the ball gets backed up about 10 yards, so they'll start at the 28-yard line. Their lead has been trimmed to 4 by the Jacob Giles to Austin Opdahl 9-yard touchdown pass. And Mayville would love to gobble up some clock here. Trojans want to get the ball back. Here's Andrew Blake. He's going downfield. He's got a receiver. And it's a first down and more, heading toward midfield. And Mayville instantly moves the chains, gets down probably, what do you suppose, almost about 20 yards on that pass play. Blake, now he keeps it himself. He's going to dive forward and pick up a 4 or 5. Mayville's offense showing a little bit of sign of life, too, here in the second half. Blake, the junior quarterback from Murrieta, California, listed as 5'10", 175. He's got some tall receivers, though. This time he hands it off to Hubbard, and Hubbard's going to barrel his way through. He has been a workhorse. He'll only get a yard or 2 out of that, but he, again, has had a lot of carries today, Andy.
Yes, exactly. It's a very good defense by DSU to try to stop this momentum that Mayville is doing and trying not to let them score.
3rd and 4 gives it to Hubbard. He's heading toward the first down line, and he think he may have it.
I think he's short. I think he's an end short.
All right, I'm going with you. I like your optimism. The clock's still running. Now it's stopped. Maybe they'll have a measurement here. I can't tell. So the ball was Hubbard was tackled inbounds, so the clock normally would be running now. But they're, I think, going to measure this, and it will end up being short. I'm sorry, maybe that's not a timeout for measurement. It's timeout for injury. There's a player on the sidelines who is injured. That's rare. Usually once you get the player on the sideline, they try to get the game going again. It's only when there's a player on the field that they would tend to stop the action. Fourth and less than a yard. Ball's now on the Trojan 44-yard line. I'm putting my money on getting it to Hubbard. Again, he has 19 carries. This would be his 20th carry. He's got it, and he's got the first down and more. He's heading down. He's inside the 35-yard line. Sorry, it wasn't Hubbard. It was, let's see, Superior Reed. Thank you. His 7th carry, but an important one. He's averaging more than 6 yards per carry. So now Reed again, and he will get down to about the 31, so about 2 yards on that play. Clock grinding away down to 4.5 minutes in the quarter. Comets lead by just 4, but they are keeping their own defense off the field. Now looks like we have a Trojan injury, and that looks like Darian Office, a valuable member of the defense. He's calling for a substitute and not getting one right away. But he limps off the field. And it looks like Clifton Marshall is going to come back in. 4:15, clock continues to run. Blake, this time he has a fake handoff inside and a nice catch. Oh, my goodness. Couple of Trojans there. DeVries was there. But and nevertheless, a nice reception. Chris Mays, the tight end. I thought Mays had a catch earlier, but though they've thrown to him. Here's Reed heading around the left side. Reed looks like he's going to be carrying the ball a while. We think Hubbard is out with an injury. Whether that's short-term or long-term, we don't know. But Reed now 9 carries, more than 50 yards. 2nd and 4, ball down at the 5-yard line, so the Comets could get another first down. A little push off, and they're going to call out a touchdown. Oh, gosh. There's no question that that was a push off, and there is no flag on there. So the official, of course, we're 80 yards away. And he's 1 yard away. Nevertheless, I don't think the official saw what Kimbrough was doing there. So Comets come right back after the Trojan touchdown to score a touchdown of their own. They are now at 20 points. The snap, the extra point, looks like it is good. So a 21-10 lead, an 11-point lead for Mayville State. And the fact that that last touchdown was slightly disputed does not minimize the fact that Mayville drove all the way down the field pretty easily, Andy, more easily than it should have been.
Yes. I think a lot of people are kind of wanting to get that call. There's been a lot of pushing and shoving during this game, but nonetheless.
Yeah, they're not calling pushing either offensively or defensively. Apparently this is more people considering if they saw that, then was considered incidental. But, again, no instant replay here at NAIA Division II level, and so that play stands, and the 11-point lead for Mayville is in place. First downs for each team, even at 14. Total yards now creeping back for Mayville on that long drive. They now have 238 yards total offense. Trojans at 276, excuse me. And a little fake run there. It appeared to be some sort of fake onside kick. Trojans weren't falling for it. And now looks to be a little more traditional one. Gets a foot into it.
42 from the 23.
And that's not going to be enough. Preston Madden, the junior safety, Anacortes Washington, then brings it back, maybe gains a yard or so on that. Trojans will start with their own 22-yard line, 1st and 10. So, Andy, each team has scored on their last possession. Let's see if we can keep that momentum going and have the Trojans get into the end zone.
Yes, we would love for the Trojans to score. They're down by 2 scores, so they got to start scoring and then playing really good defense.
All right, here's Robert Johnson going around the right side. He's going to pick up a little bit, and he gets pushed back. He'll probably gain about 2 on that. Maybe 3 yards. Let's call it 2nd and 7. Ball now at the 25-yard line. Listman and Galloway to the left. Giles rolls out to the left. Now throws it over Babcock's head and incomplete. Clock does stop with that. 2:43 remaining, third quarter. Pretty good defense by Mayville all day, covering receivers. That one was a little bit thrown over Babcock's head, so he didn't really have a chance to do that. Nevertheless, there was a defender there. Giles back to pass. He throws. He's looking for opt-out on the sideline. That's one of his favorite plays, but they're not throwing any flag there either. Incomplete pass. He may have stepped out of bounds, and so it was all moot, but there's contact on almost every one of those plays. And again, incidental contact is supposed to be ignored, but there's some line that gets crossed when it affects the receiver's ability to catch that ball. They do also have a 5-yard bump rule where you can kind of do as much blocking as you can within that first 5 yards. Now flag thrown down on the Mayville side way in the back, way down at the 39-yard line of Mayville. I don't know if there's too many players on the field. Looks like it. So that will be a 5-yard penalty. It does turn it into a 4th and 2, but the Trojans still line up for the punt. They don't want to give the ball to Mayville and this deep in their own territory. Ball's at the 30-yard line. But every 5 yards counts in the field position battle. So Barons gets it, gets a nice foot into it, and away from the receiver. Gets a little bit of a Mayville bounce, so it'll end up at about the 35-yard line. Comets will take over 1st and 10 there. Let's see if the Trojan defense can stiffen up a little bit and try to get the ball back, either by holding him on downs for the punt or for a turnover. Trojans have had fumbled the ball 4 times today and lost 3 of them. Just 1 fumble for Mayville State, and they held on to it. So no turnovers in that case. No interceptions. Blake hasn't given up any interceptions, nor has Giles. So the fumbles have cost the Trojans, but not very many turnovers in this game overall. 2:27 remaining, third quarter. Here's Blake, hands off inside. That'll be worth a couple of yards. So Reed is going to pick up 1 or so. Let's call it 2 yards. 2nd and 8, ball at the 32-yard line. That's a good first down stop, Andy. You just take them down for 2 yards each time. They're going to have to punt.
Yeah, it was a very good defensive stop. But the Trojans need some more here.
Both Hubbard and Reed are big backs, and they can carry some defenders. They keep plenty of linemen up. Now the Trojans get back. Oh, no, they had a rush on Blake and a wide open. How does he keep going? First down for Mayville. Looked like Cole Potter was almost ready to sack Blake, but Blake gets it out to the wing on the opposite side, wide open. Who's the receiver on that one?
Must be a flag.
Okay, face mask by Dakota State. That's an additional 15 yards after the end of the run. So there goes the field position idea. And so from being back at the 30-yard line, now the ball is going to be all the way to the Trojan 34-yard line. So in just a couple of plays, moves 38 yards. All right, minute 28, third quarter. A stacked backfield. We'll give it to the man in motion. And he's going to get around and finally slips down, maybe picks up 3 yards. Again, Trojans seem to be able to stop some of these running plays pretty effectively, but is now starting to give up some passes. Blake, 9 for 16. He's over 100 yards. Kimbrough, 3 receptions for 51. That's 17 apiece, including that long first half almost touchdown pass of 33 yards. 2nd and 7. Mayville again is trying to grind the clock down, giving their own defense a chance to rest and putting pressure on the Trojan defense. Blake is going to get sacked.
54, 46, 43.
And I don't know what Reed was doing on that play, but nothing. So he just kind of standing there, and Blake ends up getting sacked. He'll lose 3 yards on the play. And so they're looking to the sideline, try to get a play. Still plenty of time on the clock. Play clock at 15. Game clock is just 1 second more than that. Now, pass across the middle, an easy reception, and a nice open field tackle. Brock Reinhiller, the junior safety from Wentworth, at a nice open field tackle, but it did allow Mayville to pick up a few more yards, and that's going to be the end of the third quarter. Both teams have scored a lot more here. 2 touchdowns for Mayville and 1 for the Trojans. The Comets lead now 21-10. We'll be back in 60 seconds here at DSUathletics.com. Oh, Yves. Seems like we have penalties at the wrong times. It's not just we just don't have that many penalties.
Yeah, but 65 yards worth.
I know, yeah. So
2 personal fouls.
if you're averaging 13 yards of penalty, you're not doing something. I mean, that's not just a little offsides thing.
65 yards in that Valley City game in the first half.
Like 100 and something for the game.
Oh yeah, but like 6. It's too many. We had that. Come on, kick the field goal.
Ready there, Andy?
Yes, I am.
All right, we're back at Trojan Field. Beginning of the fourth quarter, Comets lead Trojans 21-10. Comets have the ball inside Trojan territory. They're down to about the 27-yard line. A quick pass, and Kimbrough is going to pick it up. Nice catch. He was well defended, but he's now really becoming the go-to receiver. It's just his 4th reception, but they seem like they've been all important and all fairly long. Again, he's averaging more than 17 yards a reception before that play. He's also the holder on extra points, presumably on field goals as well. Here's Blake, goes right back to him. The defender slips. Fumbles out of bounds, but that was well after he was out. Looked like Michael Cleveland, the sophomore cornerback, slipped and made an easy catch for Kimbrough. Clock stops with him going out of bounds. Now quickly gets up to 5 catches. Not nearly as prolific as the Trojan offensive passing game, but catching up fast. 2 wide receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Blake rolls to the right, throws it across the middle. Intercepted! Thomas Romack. What a critical, oh my goodness, right in the end zone. Thomas Romack, the senior linebacker from Sierra Vista, Arizona. Wow. That could be a crucial one all around. Man, what a timely play, and all his teammates are saying, man, that's great, just at the right time. Trojans will now take over 1st and 10 on the 6, so they're deep in their own territory, but boy, they not only avoided the touchdown, but kept any points off the board. Now here's Giles, hands it off to Johnson. He spins, won't make much progress. In fact, he may have lost a yard or 2.
What does that say?
Yeah, even more than that. So
2 run, 32. Ball is at the 4-ish.
here's Johnson trying to get around the right side. He's going to run out of room again and does not make any progress. He had to run almost straight across to the sideline to try to get around a speedy defense for Mayville, and so the 2 rushes result in a net loss of 2 yards. Again, Giles standing right on about the end line. Ball's at the 5. 3rd and 11. Likely passing play here. Here's Giles back. He's in the end zone. He rushes, and he misses Listman. A little high. I think Listman had gotten open, but that's going to be a quick 3 and out. But nevertheless, Thomas Romack with the interception. That's a critical time, and the Trojan defense will get back on the field and have to do it again. This punt should get the Trojans or the Comets back to about midfield, but it'd have to be a pretty big Nick Barron's punt to get there. Again, ball at the 5. Barron's will be near the back of the end zone. Mayville's defense shifting real fast. They're going to try to rush. Here's a – no, they wave this off. Barron's punts, but they whistled before the play, and that will be false start against the Trojans. So what was a punt from the 5 is going to go back to the 2.5. And now Barron's will have his heels just ahead of the line. He goes much farther, he'll be high jumping for the track team. 13-18 remaining 3rd quarter. And he punts it out, gets a nice punt. And a little Trojan bounce will get that to about the 43-yard line. Not bad considering the circumstances. So, Andy, that turnover may have been one of the plays of the day, don't you think?
It sure was, and we, in those instances when you make those plays, you just would like to score, but nonetheless, Mayville takes over, and the DSU Trojans are back on defense. It's stop them again.
Yeah, they made Trojan defense could be getting a little tired. They've had a lot of time on the field. Here's gives it to Superior Reed, and he works his way forward, picks up about 8 yards on the carry. Possessions time, as you would have guessed, is in favor of Mayville. They've had the ball about 25 minutes, the Trojans about 20. Right now, clock's running, 12:45 remaining in the game, 20 seconds on the play clock. Trojans don't want this clock to be running down. They need to score 2 touchdowns to win this and play some defense. So I would expect Mayville to work the play clock down as low as they can almost every possession. This time they get it down to 1 second before it hands off to Reed, and they are going to stop him before the first down. His helmet comes off, but again with an I don't know what that signal is. Anybody know? Now they start up the clock again.
Reset the play clock to 25.
Oh, okay. So we're getting close to 12:09, but again, the play clock would reset to 25, then has a chance to work off 23 or 24 seconds. Every minute valuable for the Trojans. And Blake is just standing looking at the play clock till it gets down to 2, 1. Trojans rush it. Boom! That's actually a smart play by the Trojans. When the play clock was down that far, they knew it was almost like timing a launch. And so once it got down to 1 second, they took off, and a huge loss.
Start.
Nice play by the DSU defense, but clock again on a running play still ticking away. 11:20 remaining in the game. Still 25 more seconds on the play clock, so you can work off a lot of time just by running the ball. But now, in case the 4th and 6, they're going to go for it here. They're not intending to punt. They'd rather give it up on downs or make that first down. Again, play clock down to 2. They could probably, they call a quick timeout just before the play clock ended. It probably wouldn't hurt them much there, actually, to take the 5-yard penalty, let the Trojans charge on that, and maybe pick up 5 yards. It wouldn't have been enough for the first down. But in any case, Mayville takes a timeout. They have just 1 left. But Trojans have all 3 of theirs, and they may need these. But what they'll need is to get the ball back and get down the field in a reasonable amount of time. Let's talk about some other Dakota State sports. It's a great sports season again for the Trojans. DSU women volleyball having a great season. They've been going strong lately, having won 4 straight in the last, 6 days. They won Friday, Saturday, Wednesday, and Friday. I guess that's 8 days to really get back in the North Star Athletic Association standings. They will play again tonight at 7 o'clock. We'd urge you to come out to the DSU Fieldhouse and watch the Trojans play. It could be a great match there. Again, conference rivals. That is against University of Jamestown. Senior night. Remember, it was senior day. Here's the punt for Mayville. Just about straight up. Nice punt. But that's going to go out of bounds. No, it didn't. It stayed in. Covered by the Comets. So it'll still be inside the 20. Trojans wisely let that go out of bounds. 10:43 remaining. Anyway, Andy, you and I have been covering the volleyball, and that's really been fun to watch, hasn't it?
It sure has, especially last night's game for the Trojans. They played exceptionally well against Dickinson and won. That was a great win by the Trojans last night, and I feel an upset coming tonight against Jamestown.
Yeah, I feel it too. We'll see how that goes. Trojans have a lot of momentum, and getting back in the conference race, if they keep winning, they would host a first-round game in the North Star Athletic Association tournament. Oh, ball tipped away, and Johnson reaches back and grabs it with one hand. Nice reception. They won't pick up a lot of yards, but he does get out of bounds to stop the clock. That could be valuable. 10:36 remaining. And now Trojans having time to set up. Giles back to pass. He's looking for Opdahl. He's not there. He throws one to Babcock again, too high. Babcock tried to keep his feet in bounds as best he can and leap up to make that catch, but it was just too high for him to do so. Again, Alex having a career-high receiving day with 7 receptions. He has 48 yards. They just targeted him there again. Now, Giles slips as he throws, but he's going to pick up a receiver. It'll only be worth about a yard. Swarming Comet defense. Yeah, that was Listman as the receiver, and a quick 3-and-out for the Trojans again. And that's not where the kind of Trojan offense that we're used to. Had a big first half in total yards, but not a lot of yards here in this second half. Clock continues to run, 9:49 remaining in the game. Trojans down by 11. And Barron's getting ready to punt. 2 seconds on the play clock. They snap it in time. He gets a nice punt off. That's going to play in the Trojans' favor. Oh, it turns over and will end up at about the 40-yard line. Comets will take over, and you can be sure that they're going to try to work a lot of time off that clock. Again, the possession time of the game, even more so in the last few minutes. 28 minutes for the Comets, 21 minutes for the Trojans. Trojans are just, the offense is not keeping the moving the ball enough in this quarter to keep their own defense off the field. So we'd like to get a turnover or some sort of way to get the ball back. Here's Blake. Throws, got a receiver across the middle and tackled. And that is, let's see, who's the receiver? That's a new one. Jacob Lawrence, senior from, no, we think we had Lawrence. Didn't he have one earlier? Yeah, he did. That's his third reception. But it's a new first down for the Comets. They're now in Trojan territory at the 41-yard line. Blake takes the pass, hands off to Reed. Reed slips, and he is down. He will lose a yard or so. Reed really carrying the ball a lot more. That's his 13th carry. Hubbard had 20 carries, most of those in the first half, and then now has been off the field for a while. Kimbrough receiving 5 receptions for 71 yards, but they have been at big times. 8.5 minutes remaining. 21-10, Comets lead the Trojans. And this will be 2nd and 12, ball on the 42-yard line. This time, Reed is going nowhere.
No, 46, 47. Oh.
Potter in on the tackle as usual. Along with Tyrell Smith was in on the tackle. So a loss of about another 5. This will be 3rd and 16. Well, 3rd and 15. So Trojan defense really stepping it up on this possession, but the Comets continue to work that clock down. Still 8 seconds on the play clock. Swing pass blotted away by Cole Potter. That's your man, Andy.
It sure is. He's been a beast tonight so far as well as his career.
Yep. And again, one of the DSU seniors, he'll go down as one of the best defensive ends in Trojan history. But his last home game today, they'll play at Aberdeen next weekend against Presentation in his final game. Congratulations to Cole and all the other seniors.
That's because they're about to bring the house. Jailbreak.
And here's going to be the punt for Mayville. And that's going to work its way down pretty close to the goal line. Let's say at the 2-yard line. Long ways for the Trojans to go, but they can do that. 7:35 remaining in the game. 21-10. Comets lead. Again, statistics have been skewing toward the Comets all second half. They now have 18 first downs and to 14 for the Trojans. Still not doing much on third down. They're 2 for 13 in third down conversions. Here's Giles standing in his own end zone again. He's back to pass. Throws across the middle to Babcock. No luck there. Trojans have just not been able to get open against this Mayville defense. Every pass contested, both at the defensive line and in the secondary. Opdahl's had a decent game, but been well covered in others. And again, Giles' percentage is not what it has been. He scrambles to the left. Now he's got some room to go if he chooses to. He throws it to Galloway. That's a completed pass, and Mitch is going to pick up the first down and get past the 20. A shoestring catch for Mitch Galloway. That was important to get the Trojans out of jail down there. They are inside the 5-yard line. 7:15 remaining in the game. Giles back to pass. Throws to Opdahl. That's complete. and a one-on-one tackle. Nicely done. Stays in bounds. So clock continues to run. It crosses the 7-minute mark.
It's 14. Oh.
Trojans trying to hustle up to the line, but let's see how this goes. Again, Opdahl still kind of messing with that hand a little bit that he hurt right at the end of the first half. Now Giles goes across over to Listman, and he's going to be close to the first down, maybe. Gets it. He does. Picks up the first down. That'll stop the chains momentarily. Or actually, he went out of bounds, I think, there. So they've got time here. Here's Giles. Johnson, the outlet pass. Can he turn the corner? He does. Leaps into the air and fumbles out of bounds. And so it's a good play. Johnson trying to leap over the defender, but the defender maybe could read that in advance and drills him up high, knocks the ball loose, but it bounces out of bounds. Clock is running. I'm not sure why. I thought that ball would be out of bounds. Anyway, 6:15 remaining in the game. Now Opdahl heading toward the sidelines, and he will be out of bounds. That will stop the clock close to the new first down. Andy, if the Trojans can score a touchdown here, get back to within 4 points with, let's say, 3 or 4 minutes to go, they'd have a shot.
Yes, and I'd most likely think they'll go for an onside kick to try to get the ball back, and if not, play defense to try to do a 3 and out.
Mm-hmm. So Babcock again, another reception, and they said he was down inbounds, so the clock continues to run. I thought he may have been out on that. So Trojans hustle up to the line. Every second counts. 5:45 remaining in the game. Trojans offense showing some sign of life. This is 2nd and 6. They're now at their own 48-yard line. Giles back to pass. Throws to Babcock. Couldn't quite grab that, but the clock does stop. It'll be 3rd and 6. No chance for a punt anymore, of course. They will have 2 plays to get those 6 yards. Giles overall 24 for 43, a little bit below his usual season completion percentage. Quick pass. Oh, he's got Galloway. He's going to get the first down and more. He's heading up the sidelines and make it inside the 40-yard line. Good hustle.
And out of bounds.
And out of bounds. Clock stops, 5:27. That was an important 3rd down conversion. Now the clock starts running again, but Trojans are ready. They snap it just a second or 2 later. Giles across the middle to Babcock. Drops it. That would have been a huge play. Alex Babcock had that in his hands and just couldn't pull that one off.
Nonetheless, it stops the play with an incompletion.
Yep, we'll take that. Babcock, the sophomore from Woolsey, South Dakota, 6'3", 230. It'll be 2nd and 10 for the Trojans. Giles yelling instructions at the line of scrimmage. 2 wide receivers to the left. Giles back. He sees Opdahl, who's wide open. Doesn't go for it. Now he's going to go way down the field to Babcock. That's past everybody. And, again, no call of any sort. And, again, incidental contact. But some fans want to see if there's any contact down there to get a flag. And that the referees are not throwing those today. 5:10. And another important 3rd down play. Play clock at 20 seconds, plenty of time, and the game clock stopped with the incomplete pass. Here's Giles back to pass again. He sees Opdahl. That's a little low, and Giles takes a hit too, and looks like Giles is hurt. He's holding his back. No call as far as roughing the passer. Jacob trying to shake that off, but he's now thrown a few times. He's going to be probably over 50 attempts today. He's got 47 attempts already. So an important, maybe the most important play of the game so far for the Trojans. 4th and 10. They'll need to get this first down or likely the game will be over. Giles back to pass. He throws it way downfield to Opdahl. He's got him, and that's definitely a flag. And what relief it was for the Trojan fans who finally said, that's so obvious, you got to call that one. And they did. Opdahl, what a great route he was running to get open on a post route. and then clearly interfered with, and 2 flags came out, and the fans erupted with such relief, like, finally, let's call that. So that'll be a nice play here, Andy.
Yes, it gets us half a distance to the goal on 1st and 10 and automatic.
So it was 4th down, so if that hadn't been completed, Mayville would have taken over on downs with only 5 minutes to go and could likely have run out the clock. But instead, Trojans now at the 20-yard line. And the same 5 minutes to go, but a fresh set of downs for DSU. Austin Opdahl again providing a critical element that he has 8 receptions for 137. And that doesn't count this big play that gave them the... Listman is able to stay in bounds. No, he didn't. But he still gained about 4 or 5 yards. 4 yards. He does go out of bounds, so the clock stopped. That play only took 6 seconds. So again, Andy, I was talking about getting the ball getting the ball in the end zone with about 4 minutes. If they continue marching, that might occur. They're at 4:46 now. Giles calling something from the line of scrimmage. He's got Johnson in the back now. Giles looking for a receiver. He saw Listman kind of hanging around there, but Listman broke away to one side and Giles had thrown it behind him. So incomplete pass. It'll be 3rd and 6. Another important conversion here. Again, they won't punt or even kick a field goal. They'll want to go for the end zone. So really 2 plays to get these 6 yards. Giles takes the snap. The rush is on. Throwing across his body to Opdahl. And touchdown, Trojans. Austin Opdahl just continuing a Hall of Fame career. Another touchdown for him. Oh, my, is he putting it together. And Jacob Giles now up 51 attempts today, 28 completions, 2 touchdowns. And, again, now Giles getting his yardage back. He's up to about, that must be about 280 yards on the day. So Trojans crawl back to within 5 and see if they're going to go for 2 here. That would bring the Trojans back to within a field goal. Let's see, Robert Johnson. And he does. Wow, what great running by Robert Johnson. He just stayed on his feet, spinning while he was in the grasp, and was able to make it all the way in. So Trojans now to within 3 points, Andy. And so we were talking, at least I was, about having get 2 touchdowns. But now it appears as though they could tie it with another field goal.
Yes, they sure can, and now it's all up on the defense for the Trojans. They'll most likely go for a onside kick here to try to get the ball back and keep the offense on the field. And if they don't, they'll have to rely on the Trojans defense, which has been pretty steady throughout today's game. So it's going to be an interesting, end of the last few minutes of the game. It's a nail biter.
Absolutely. Glad I didn't trim my nails. I can bite them now. So 4.5 minutes remaining. Trojans ready to kick off. The statistics, of course, great drive by the Trojans. And first downs, they now lead in first downs again. 20-18. Total yards, 362 for Dakota State. That was just a huge drive. What did it start on the 2-yard line there, Andy?
Yes, right at the 2.
So a 98-yard drive for the Trojans ends up with 8 points. Here's Nick Behrens. Let's see what they'll do. He goes deep with it. And it's going to be fumbled, but picked up. He could. What's going on back there? Someone in the press box I thought was having an epileptic fit or something, and but I don't know what was going on there. In any sense, everybody's safe. And 4:19 remaining in the game. 21-18 Comets lead. Comets have the ball, though. Let's see if the Trojans can stop them. Here's a quick pass. That's an incomplete. Cole Potter rushing from the defensive end.
There you go, Nick. Gotta get some good stuff here. Some words of encouragement trying to get
All
that,
right. 4:16 remaining in the game. 2nd and 10 for the Comets. Trojans blitz. And Reed is going to go around the end. Can he get the first down? He will make the first down. It looks like, at least. We'll see where they mark that, but I believe that's a first down. That's an important first down. Trojans will want to get the ball back with a little bit of time on it, but that 2nd down, 10.5-yard run for Superior Reed is going to end up with a Mayville first down. Now it'll be 1st and 10 from the Comets' own 45-yard line.
How about an interception?
That would be nice, too. I think they're going to hand it off, though, letting the play clock and game clock work down as much as they can. Now 2 seconds on the play clock. Trojans rush this one again, and Reed comes around, bounces out to the outside. He stays pretty close to inbounds. I think he'll pick up, 7 or 8 yards, maybe almost 10 again. Trojans had an advantage at the line, but Reed was able to bounce outside and pick up those yards anyway. He now is the leading rusher for the Comets. He has 16 carries for 80 yards, averaging about 5 yards a carry.
An injury on the play. Injury timeout.
Pretty close to the first down. I think they'll call this 2nd and inches. Clock stopped with 3:35 remaining. Again, that's the strategy of the Comets here, to keep the ball on the ground, inbounds, and keep picking up first downs. And so far, that's what's been working. Trojans would like to get the ball back and get that quick strike offense.
Yeah, and we talked earlier about the nice running by Hubbard for Mayville, but,
Reed.
Yeah, Reed is just as good as Hubbard.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been getting these good, 12, 15-yard runs here in this drive as well as in the game.
Yep, that really pays off for Mayville. 3.5 minutes. Again, they may let this run down a little bit. They do. They had 19 seconds on the clock. And so they just tick, tick, tick. That's their strategy, and it's a good one. 1st and 10 from the Trojan 45. And they work it all the way down to 4 seconds. Now Blake goes deep, but no one down there. It's way over everybody's head. But it does stop the clock. 3:08, but they still have three more downs, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, that the Trojans need to hold them in order to get the ball back with any time on the clock.
Oh, no, that's good enough. Yeah, 83. No,
83 is a short.
Here's a handoff inside, and Reed's going to try to go the other way. He dives forward. It'll be a loss of about 2 or 3. Nice defense by the Trojans. Reed indicated he was going to go reverse and go the other way, and saw that there wasn't anything there. Trojans call timeout. Stop the clock with 3:01 remaining. Trojans still have 2 timeouts. Comets have 1. Nevertheless, this stops the clock, and so with the 3rd and 13, the Trojans can hold in these next 2 plays. They would get the ball back. Mayville might punt on this. They've had some pretty good success on punting deep into Trojan territory. So if they don't convert on this 3rd down, they may very well punt it down there rather than giving the Trojans the ball near midfield.
And you certainly, when you have a 3-point lead in this close to the end of the game, you don't want that to happen, to go for it on 4th and then turn over on downs. It's a huge momentum shift to the Trojans. They don't really want to do that, so that they're most likely to go for for that punt.
Yeah, I agree. Field position is everything if there's just 3 points separating the two. Third and 13, ball back in at the 48-yard line of the Trojans. Again, they'll try to, they're going to pass. They go way downfield, and he's got a receiver. That's trouble. And it's going to be a touchdown, Mayville. Unless there's a flag, that is going to wrap up this game. And there's flags everywhere. What is that, taunting on the on? Oh my! Kari Kimbrough again, a big play receiver. He only has 6 receptions, but he's got more than 100 yards out of those. Starting to rain now here at Trojan Field. What a pass by Blake, too. He really threw that downfield. We believe it's an unsportsmanlike conduct call. We will see what the officials have to say.
So it must have been 81.
Julian Delgado, I think, he was the other receiver. And I think it appears as though he got that penalty, unsportsmanlike conduct. So that'll be a 15 yards, but touchdown does count. So it's 27-18, Comets lead now. They'll try to get this back to 10 with the extra point. Again, the receiver, Kimbrough, is the holder on the extra points. A little bit more rain now, so that ball could be slippery. And it does. They slip, and Mayville is going to recover. Nevertheless,
No one blocked. No. That was just
nevertheless, the Trojans will take over. Or no, they'll get a kickoff return here. 2:51, so Andy, almost 3 minutes, but 9 points now after that big play bomb from Blake to Kimbrough.
Yes, you'll have to use the clock and the timeouts to get down the field to at least score one, and then definitely go for the onside kick to try to win it.
Yep, Trojans do have 2 timeouts. That'll help. But the nice thing would be a big kickoff return here. That unsportsmanlike conduct will cost 15 yards on the kickoff. So look how far the Trojans are. They've already we have defenders all the way up to the Mayville 30-yard line. And so they'll kick it off at the 20. They'd love to have somehow put the Trojans back in their own territory, but this is not the way to do that. Trojans have 2 receivers back for this. Everyone else is up front. He could drop it in the middle of the field. Now they start to back up and spread this out a little bit.
14 or 42.
So Preston Madsen and Mitch Galloway back. Galloway's going to get it. He gets one more bounce. He gets it. He gets it at the 40. The 45 gets pulled out of bounds, and that will start the Trojan offense at about the 44-yard line. So 56 yards to go for a score to bring the Trojans back to within a field goal. Let's see what the Trojan offense can do here. A terrific drive last time. Jacob Giles, again, 51 attempts. Well, that's near a career high. I think he had one more earlier this year that was over that number. We'd have to check with SID Nick Huntemer. But 2:47 to get this done. Here's Giles back to pass. You know he's going to be passing a lot. He's got Opdahl and knocked away. Good defense by Mayville. Will Irvin, he likes to wave his hands a lot, and incomplete pass. I thought Opdahl had that for a second, but enough contact, and that is an incomplete pass. 2nd and 10, 2:42. Irvin and Opdahl again battling. Giles across to Babcock, gets hit. Can he pick up 5 yards? He can, but they'll have to hustle up because every second counts here. 2:32 remaining in the game. Ball spotted. Let's call that a 4-yard game to Babcock. It does keep the defense honest to know that they'll throw it in the middle of the field now and then. Giles back to pass. He's being attacked. He throws it downfield. And there's going to be a flag. I think that may be on Irvin. Babcock was already out of bounds. I think Irvin may have. I don't know. Well, I'm not going to speculate until we get the call here. But that would certainly be an important penalty if it's against Mayville. Trojans at a 3rd and 5. Yeah, that is a critical play. That's on Irvin again. And so 15 yards, I think, from, I'm not sure, defensive pass interference. Okay, yeah, Giles at 56 attempts. Or no, it's Dylan Jones, does that say?
Giles is at 54 right now. So
okay, so he's 2 away from the record. Here's one of them. And another flag. Don't be yelling at the refs or it'll add another thing. But they'll get another pass interference on Irvin. What? Yeah. We got some vocal coaches in the booth near us, and they're sometimes coming over. We apologize if the audio is, if they pick up some of that profanity. 2:12 remaining in the game, but a couple of huge penalties.
Did they just call pass interference?
There's going to be a timeout in Mayville.
I'm not sure what they called there. I thought it was pass interference, wasn't it?
All right, well, let's get a quick summary of this game. Comets lead 27-18, a 9-point Mayville lead. 2:12 remaining. Trojans have the ball and have marched down the field a long ways. They are now inside the 20. Inside the 30. They're at the 27-yard line. I think it was defensive pass interference again. And Mayville calls a timeout. So Mayville has no timeouts left. Trojans do have 2.
It was pass interference.
Again, Jacob Giles now 54 attempts. Two away from the Trojan record. He may very well break that in the next couple of plays. It's unlikely the Trojans will run this. Here's Jacob Giles. He fakes the handoff. Now he throws a swing pass to Johnson, but over his head. It does keep the clock stopped, and the Trojans, with that new timeout, have plays to give. So 2nd and 10, ball in the 27. Now we expect more traditional plays like getting the ball downfield, either to the Babcock or Opdahl have been the two most prominent. Oh, there's a draw up the middle, and Johnson is going to make a lot of hay with that. A new first down for Robert Johnson. The clock is stopped to move the chains, and the Trojans head right up to the line of scrimmage. They won't sacrifice many seconds with this. It's now at 1:57, and the ball's inside. Here's Giles, throws to the corner. It's over the head of Galloway, but a flag on the near side of the field. Let's see what this is. He's going to rush over to the head official and explain what he saw. Again, clock stopped with that flag, 1:49. 1st and 10 was incomplete. Both teams pointing at each other. You did it. No, you did it. Let's see what the call is. personal foul, hands to the face. That's another 15 yards. Or that's going to be half the distance, I guess. And so the Trojans are going to be having a 1st and goal. Minute 49, Andy. We need to get in, though, and get the ball back. That's what's important because it's a 9-point difference. You can't make up 9 points on one touchdown.
No, you sure can't.
Here's Giles to Johnson again. Roberts around the corner. Can he make it? No, he is out of bounds, though. Clock stops, but he is inside the 5-yard line now. A minute 44. Really coming together, this offense. But what a crucial play was that draw a few minutes ago, because Giles had dropped back so many times in a row. He has 55 carries or attempts. Here's a snap. He goes back to pass. Throws it to Galloway. Touchdown, Trojans. With a minute 40 to go, Trojans score and get to within, well, they just gave the points to the Comets on the scoreboard. I think they'll have to undo that a little bit. So it should be 24-27. There we go. Is that you guys?
No, that's not us.
Okay.
That's Cody Foreman.
Okay.
You can give him a shout out for that if you want.
Yeah, they all heard you, Nick. All right. Here's the extra point attempt. Nick Behrens, if he gets this, a field goal would win it later. And drills it through. Extra point good. And so we've got a game of it after all. Back to 2 points. A minute 40 to go. Andy, don't you wish there were 6 minutes or 7 minutes?
Yes, but I'll take the minute 45 and get this onside kick here and go for the win with the field goal.
All right.
I'm calling it.
Yeah, if you call it and it happens, I'm going to buy you a milkshake at Dairy Queen.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Okay. You heard, you all guys heard that?
Yeah.
If
he called it, onside kick a field goal to win. I'm going to buy him a milkshake at Dairy Queen. What flavor?
Any flavor.
Okay.
Nick's favorite. I'll go with Nick's favorite. What?
I'm just a vanilla guy.
Vanilla guy, yeah. Okay. Well, I'll take a vanilla one then. All right. Let's get a quick summary. A minute 40, Trojans and Mayville have been battling back and forth. No scoring at all in the first quarter. Mayville scores a touchdown, Trojans a field goal before half, so a 7-3 Comet lead at the break. 2 touchdowns to 1 in favor of the Comets in the third, and now 15-6 here in the fourth quarter in favor of the Trojans. Overall, 27-25. Now, it turned out what was a defensive battle in the first quarter, maybe even the first half. Now teams are up over 700 yards in total offense. Trojans 386, Comets 364. Giles, another big night, 30 for 55. There's that onside kick. Who's going to get it? Oh, it's loose. Who's got it? And it's going to be Trojans have the ball. No, again, the Mayville coaches, we apologize if you're overhearing some of that. They're in the booth next to us. It may have been out of bounds, and they will say it belongs to Mayville. So an excellent attempt. Trojans had the ball, but they say it touched out of bounds first. So Coach Anderson, right on top of this thing. He was within inches of when that happened. He's not getting any relief from the referees. Plead all you want, Josh, but it just doesn't seem to change their minds. So Mayville will take over 1st and 10, a minute 37. They're going to have to try to somehow force a turnover here. That's almost impossible to do. They could take a knee. Although Trojans have 2 timeouts, they may hand it off. I doubt if they'd go downfield or toward the sidelines. They'd want to keep the ball in play as best they can. Clock does not stop on a kickoff. There's a, they're going to say false start against Mayville will cost them 5 yards. Clock did not stop, so it merely moves them back 5 yards. 1st and 15.
The whole offensive line. Everybody but the center. Didn't move.
Ball never was snapped that I saw. And so still a minute 37. And pressure's on. Handoff to Reed. He's getting knocked down. They're going to, of course, Trojans are going to try to strip the ball every chance they can. The clock does stop now with the timeout by DSU. They still have 1 remaining after this, but a smart call to get that. It'll still be 2nd and 16, a minute 33. So they will be able to run. You know, Trojans have 1 more timeout, but I'm sure the Comets will run the clock down on the other ones as fast as they can. Just a 2-point difference. The best scenario, of course, is to somehow to strip that ball and get a turnover. But Mayville knows that, and they'll say, we'll do everything to hold on to that. I thought they made an attempt at getting it out of Reed's hands, but he wisely held on to it. 2nd and 16, a minute 33. Trojans trail by 2. Total yards, again, 386 for DSU, 363 for the Comets. Jacob Giles, 1 pass attempt away from a school record, tying the school record. Jacob is 30 for 55 for 283 yards. Here's a snap and a handoff to Reed. He holds onto it with 2 hands. Will make up a few yards and calls a timeout again. Trojans call their final timeout. Minute 28, only 5 seconds go off that clock. So with a 35-second clock, that would take off 70 seconds on these. Well, let's see how we're going to do this. If it's 3rd down, you take off, let's say, 5 or 7 seconds. That'd get them down to about a minute 20. They could let it run for 35 after that. So it'd be about 45 seconds left before they had to snap the ball. At least another 5 seconds there. So if they turned it over on downs, Andy, they could get it with about 40 seconds left. Unless either a turnover or some other thing that would stop the clock. Again, minute 28. That's the crucial number here. Just 2 points separating these teams. And it'll be 3rd and 12. Ball in the Comets' 44-yard line. They have 2 running backs now. They hand it off to the man in motion. Power sweep to the left to see if they can stop them, and they did. The clock continues to run. So as we mentioned, the play clock, that's a 40-second play clock. So it's now down to 33. That means it'll be about 45 seconds when the Comets will have to take the snap. 4th and something. Let's say you run another 5 or 7 seconds off that clock for a change for the last play. If the Trojans can stop the Comets here, they would get the ball back somewhere right around. No, they're going to punt. And they've only got 7 seconds to do so. 4, 3, 2, 1. They do snap it in time, and a punt. No flag on the play. They get it down. It's going to roll into the end zone. So for a touchback, Trojans will get the ball 1st and 10 on their own 20 with 35 seconds to go, but no timeouts. Oh, goodness, Andy. Right. All we need is a field goal. So we don't know. What's Barron's range, do you suppose?
He's attempted a 40-yarder.
Okay.
He missed it. I think his longest is like 35 or something like that.
Okay, so 35-yard line. That means the Trojans need to get down to about the 18-yard line to give Nick a good shot at that. Of course, he's over there warming up now, getting ready.
I think they'll just go as far as they can and then just go for that.
Opdahl down the field. It's a jump ball, and there's two defenders, and oh, my goodness, almost received two defenders and Opdahl in the middle and had a chance at that, but overall good defense. You can almost never win that jump ball with two defenders, but Austin almost did. Just takes a few seconds off the game clock. Now Giles rolls out to the right. He's throwing it downfield. That throws it away, and that'll stop the clock again. So 3rd and 10. They've got plenty of time on the play clock. It's still 30 seconds on that, 22 seconds on the game clock. So, again, they'll need a big pass play. Giles takes the snap. They want Opdahl. They go to the sidelines, and Austin gets it, and he gets out of bounds. So that will be close to a first down, but I don't think he got it.
Well, it's 4th down, so.
Well, they'll
Chance to run 2 more plays.
right. They'll probably have 2 more pass plays if they can complete them. 17 seconds, maybe 3. Here's Giles to Opdahl again. That'll be out of bounds. It still may not have gotten a first down. If they didn't get the first down, that's the game. And that looks like it is. That's turnover on downs, and so Mayville takes over with just 13 seconds left.
29 got the tackle? No, he was out of bounds.
And that's Mayville ball. And with just 13 seconds remaining, so they can just take a knee now and end this game. But a valiant effort by the Trojans to try to come back and actually pulled back to within 2 and having the ball, but just not enough, Andy, to make it back all the way.
Yeah, it was a good fought game for the Trojans today, but just couldn't come up with the win.
Now there's a flag thrown on near the Trojan sideline. Not sure what this is. We'll see. All the officials, at least most of the officials, 4 out of the 7 are huddled together talking about this. Again, 13 seconds left. Comets have the ball 1st and 10 in Trojan territory. What was it, sideline what?
Interference or something like that. I don't know. Who cares?
Nothing really happened.
Oh, sideline warning.
Oh, okay. Just a warning, and so they're going to take the ball under center, take the knee, and that's the game. Final score, Mayville State Comets 27, Dakota State University Trojans 25 in this North Star Athletic Association Conference matchup. Trojans now move to 5-4 overall, having lost 3 games in a row and going 2-3 in the North Star Athletic Association. Mayville State goes to 4-4 on the season, evens their conference record at 2-2. So look at some of the final statistics for the game. Again, it turned out to be what was early on a defensive battle turned into a bit of a shootout near the end. Total first downs for Dakota State 24 and Mayville State 21. Trojans almost 400 yards total offense, 395 to 372 for Mayville. 292 yards through the air for Jacob Giles. 32 for 59. That's a new school record for most attempts in a football game. He had 59 attempts. So running plays, 32 for 103. The bulk of those go to Robert Johnson, 25 carries for 87 yards. He did have a long run of 17. Receiving for the Trojans, Austin Opdahl, 11 receptions, 162 yards. A big day receiving for him, long of 40 yards. So he averaged almost 15 yards a reception. Alex Badcock, a career-high day for him, 9 receptions for 57 yards. His longest just 12, but he averaged more than 6 yards per reception. Mitch Galloway, 5 receptions for 47 yards. Robert Johnson, 3 receptions out of the backfield for 15. And Trevor Listman, 4 receptions for 11 yards. For Mayville State on the ground, a tale of two halves. Dondre Hubbard, 20 carries for 67 yards, almost all those in the first half. Then Superior Reed comes in to spell the injured Hubbard, 19 carries for 79 yards to lead both teams in rushing. L.J. McMorris, 5 carries for 28, and Desmond Earls, 2 carries for 10. In the air, Andrew Blake, 14 completions for 20 in 25 attempts, ended up with 196 yards, 3 TDs, and 1 interception. Giles also had 3 TDs. Receiving, Kari Kimbrough, 5 receptions, 71, but they all seem to be important. 2 receptions for Julian Delgado for 54 yards. Jacob Lawrence had 3 receptions for 42. Chris Mays, 2 for 27, and Preston Hamlet, 1 reception for 2 yards. So again, Trojans moved to 5-4 overall, 2-3 in the North Star Athletic Association Conference. The final game for the seniors, we want to recognize them one more time. Andrew Adelsberg, Nick Behrens, Robert Johnson, Terrell Johnson, Darian Office, Cole Potter, Alvin Reels Jr., Thomas Romack, Terrell Smith, and Eric Wall. Andy, some of your thoughts about this this game here today?
It was raining, it was cold, it was wet on the field, kind of loose balls here and there, but all around a great football game for both teams. Mayville came up here to our house, to the Trojans' house, and got a win away from them, and playing with great defense. And I mean, it was just an all-around good game for both teams, but final score shows Mayville winning by 2.
A close game indeed. And, of course, I know you share my appreciation for the seniors who are graduating this year. I know you've followed them and appreciated their hard work through the years.
I sure have. They're a great group of guys, all the seniors, and all the football players. They're a great group of young guys, and it's just always fun to talk to them.
So we're going to head over to some other sports. Remember, just in a few hours, DSU volleyball will be at 7 o'clock as the Trojans take on the University of Jamestown Jimmies in a North Star Athletic Association conference match. Trojans have a 4-game winning streak in volleyball and hope to extend that in a conference matchup tonight. Then Tuesday, men's and women's basketball doubleheader. A huge victory for the men's team on Thursday. Andy, a quick impression about that game from you.
It was a tremendous game for the Trojans. You can call it an upset over Northwestern because Northwestern had the Trojans beat, and Heiser, who had a calf strain in the midway through the fourth quarter, came back from his cramps, scored a couple more points, and then the game-winning assist with 4 seconds left, and gave it to Kyle Kilgore for the win at the buzzer.
90-89 victory. Trojans win that game against Northwestern Red Raiders of Iowa. Ladies lose that game, unfortunately. Volleyball then plays again next Tuesday. That's on the road at Bellevue, Nebraska. Then the men's and women's basketball doubleheader, DSU Fieldhouse. First game at 5:30, second game at 7:30. We'd urge you to come out and root on the Trojans both tonight for volleyball and for basketball on Tuesday. So we're going to wrap it up here from Trojan Field. A battle, first a defensive battle and an offensive battle down the stretch as the Mayville State Comets defeat the Dakota State University Trojans 27-25. So for Andy Hunter and all the rest of the crew here at the field, Trojan Field, I'm John Hunter. We'll see you next time on DSUathletics.com.
Go Trojans.